What's happening, guys? And welcome back to the channel. And finally, the international break is done and the Premier League will return to action this weekend. And Chelsea are back in action at Stamford Bridge, where we host Aston Villa on the 5:30 kickoff on Saturday evening. Now, obviously, Chelsea have had a lot more players away on international duty than Aston Villa have, a lot more travelling. These games after the international break always have a tendency to perhaps throw up a bit of a shock result or an opportunity to drop points. George, how are you feeling going into this one?
Well, excited to start with. It's good to have club football back. I hate international football, so yeah, just great to have the boys back. And big game. We mustn't take it for granted. Aston Villa have created some epics in the past against us. Everyone remembers the 4-4 at Stamford Bridge. Maybe almost a decade ago now, when Ballack scored a couple, and I can't remember who scored the equaliser for them, but that's back when they had Carew at top and under Martin O'Neill. So they've had some great sides, and they're now looking, after a side that was struggling with relegation, all the rest of it, they seem to now be again doing that cycle where they've got a decent squad and some exciting players that are still trying to find their feet. So we're at home, and I expect us to win, get the 3 points, but it's not going to be. It'll be a tough game. But again, I'm just excited to see what Tuchel, formation-wise, thinks about it, whether he changes it because it's been the international break and have some fresher faces rather than the players who played a lot of international football. A lot of factors to consider, but all in all, I think we should have enough to get the job done. But if there was, a slight area of doubt, it would be that, Villa have got some dangerous players in the attacking third, and we have slipped up against teams like this in the past.
Yeah, no, we certainly have. And George, as you mentioned, with a lot of our players playing in the international break, some of the fixtures not concluding until well into Wednesday evening, and unlikely to be, returning until the early hours of Thursday morning with the games on Saturday. It's quite likely that there's going to be some selection issues ahead. I mean, what are you kind of expecting? I think the front three positions is always a difficult one. Obviously, Mason Mount's played a part in all of England's games. Lukaku has played in two, obviously misses the one against Belarus through suspension. So I think a sort of a convenient yellow card he picked up there in the last qualifier, which helps him out there. But yeah, I mean, a lot of selection issues really going into the game. Christian Pulisic is now fit and available after having COVID. So, I mean, who would you like to see start up? So I think if Lukaku's fit, it's probably going to be him. Timo Werner's had a very good international break, back amongst the goals and contributed some assists as well. Do you think we could see him restored to the lineup?
I mean, like I've been saying this, on the channel for pretty much ever since we began it. I have complete faith in Thomas Tuchel and his selection. I mean, if Timo Werner was to come in for his first start of the season, it wouldn't surprise me, and I wouldn't be annoyed by that. I think he's got more than enough quality to cause problems for Aston Villa. I think that's the luxury position that we're in. We've got a lot of top-end players in that front three who can interchange, and we have the same outcome. Yes, you would assume that Lukaku will start. He'll be our focal point for the entirety of the season, unless he gets injured. But the other two, I think you've got pretty much very similar to what we had under Jose in the 05 to 07, where we had two in each position. I wouldn't, if Pulisic decided to play, I wouldn't be too worried about that either. He's got bags of quality that can cause problems. So I expect the same formation that he's been playing so far this season. We obviously won't have Thiago Silva, but again, questions about Chilwell. Is it going to be Chilwell? Is Alonso going to keep his place? Are we going to see Saul? Is he going to play? Interesting, but I'm excited for it. I think the neutrals will be fuming that the Manchester United match isn't televised. I think that's going to overshadow all the weekend fixtures of whether he plays or not. So why we've got the 5:30 kickoff works for me perfectly, being a Chelsea fan. But for the rest, I think people are a bit annoyed. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, mate. And whatever lineup's out there, I'm sure we can get the job done.
It's an interesting point you raise about the Alonso Chilwell situation. Obviously, both not in their national squads for this break. Alonso's had a really good start to the season. Obviously, a goal against Crystal Palace with a free kick. Some really good performances. Obviously, nominated for Player of the Month for August. And Chilwell obviously hasn't even played any minutes yet. I mean, it would be very harsh for Alonso to be dropped, wouldn't it, for this game?
Yeah, if there was one player that I thought deserves to be penciled in again, it would be Alonso, just for his contribution and how he's performed. He's really taken that opportunity, and he's always been an experienced player that I've always liked at Chelsea. I think we all know as Chelsea fans that he's a bit liable when it comes to defending, particularly against your better quality opposition that you cannot afford to get turned or to allow them to cut inside and have that killer ball. But what he offers going forward is still yet to be matched by Ben Chilwell. I know Ben Chilwell scored a couple of goals towards the end of the season with us, is particularly that one in the Champions League, but that's a part of his game that he really needs to work at. And if it's not broke, don't fix it. And at the moment, we're keeping clean sheets and we're winning football matches. So I can't justify any really, really big changes from that Liverpool result and from our last home win, really.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. I think it's been a really solid start to the season with 2 wins and a draw from some difficult opening fixtures, and we really need to keep the momentum rolling by winning this game against Aston Villa. We've got the Champions League campaign starting up next week as well. We've got Spurs and Manchester City to follow this month, as well as a trip to Juventus and the League Cup campaign getting underway. So it's a big month at the club. We're going to need to use the squad fully. I wouldn't be surprised to see Saul Niguez get his debut. I think Kante's fitness is up in the air at the moment. Jorginho and Kovacic have played a lot of international football whilst they're away. So I'd expect to see Saul Niguez feature. But George, just a quick word on Aston Villa. Obviously, not as many players away on the international break. Yes, they've lost their talisman in Jack Grealish, but they've really reinvested that money well, bringing in some good players, Emi Buendia, Leon Bailey, and a proven Premier League goalscorer in Danny Ings. Just how careful have we got to be of that front line?
Really careful. Danny Ings is someone that I rate very highly. I mean, I can't remember, it was the week before the international break where he scored that outrageous bicycle kick
overhead kick against Newcastle.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely goal of the month for me. And he's a great player. I think he could honestly play at any football club and score goals. He's just a natural goal scorer. Give him a chance and he will score. And they've, like I said at the beginning of the channel, the beginning of the show, he's got a lot. They've got a lot of options and they've spent that money very wisely. And I think they've got a lot of potential talent that will grow over time. It's probably a good time to play them because they're not quite finding their feet. And if you incorporate the international break where they haven't perhaps had the time that they want to gel together, you'd probably take Aston Villa now rather than later. But we have to be incredibly careful. But again, as the games go on with Thomas Tuchel, I get more and more confident that the back line is solid and we know exactly what we're doing, and that shows in the results.
Yeah, 100%. I think for a title challenge this season, which is a must, it's really important that we do win these difficult games, particularly at home as well. You don't want to be dropping points to the likes of Aston Villa, no disrespect to them. But if you're going to win a championship, these are the games that you have to win. And we've definitely got the squad to do it. We've got the players to do it. We've got a top manager. So we just need to keep that momentum rolling, heading into obviously a tricky month of fixtures for us. So to kick things off with a win is absolutely vital. But that's just myself and George's thoughts on Chelsea's return to Premier League action against Aston Villa. As always, leave your thoughts in the comments below. How do you see the game going? Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and we'll catch you in the next one.